What is up guys, welcome back to another episode of ReaperCast. Today we're going to be talking about a lot of interesting cards, mainly some new DDD cards that I really wanted to go over, and this is something I'm really excited about. As you guys already know, I'm pretty much a DDD player by default, I guess you could say, because it's just pretty much my favorite deck out there. It still is, always has been, since it came out of course, but yeah, since then the deck has still remained as one of my favorite decks out there. So anytime new support comes out, I'm absolutely excited, and I'm not entirely sure, I think there's about 4 or 5 cards that are out, but we're going to get through a few more cards before that, and then we'll finally move on to the DDD cards. However, as a quick reminder, if you do enjoy this kind of video, please consider subscribing, drop a comment, and share this video. It really matters. But without further ado, let's begin. The first card we have here is going to be quite exciting as well. It's Monster Rebirth. Now, this is only a trap card, however, based on the artwork, you could see Monster Reborn there, which is definitely something that's really captivating, really awesome, makes you think what kind of trap this will actually be. Now, given that this is a normal trap card, it has the potential with trap trick, so who knows, it might be really good. If a monster was destroyed by battle this turn, send one Monster Reborn from your hand or deck to the graveyard, then target one monster in either graveyard, special summon it. This is treated as a special summon by Monster Reborn. That's very interesting. I like that. I mean, yes, it's considered as a summon as Monster Reborn, but even so, it is technically still played through a trap card, so in some sort of way, it has its benefits, but at the same time, it does seem kind of lacking. It's lacking in the sense that it's a trap card, so it will be pretty slow to actually execute, but even so, with trap trick in the line, it can kind of speed up the deck in some sort of way. So whether or not your opponent decides to destroy this particular card, I guess it doesn't really matter. It depends on how you actually use it, and it should be okay still. I would consider this more so a contingency plan card, which is definitely something that is great of course, but aside from that, it doesn't really offer too much that makes it as good as the original Monster Reborn of course. However, the next card we have here is called Fluanderes and the Journey Preparations, a quick play spell card. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. Banish one winged beast monster from your hand or face up field, add one Fluanderes monster or field spell from your deck to your hand, then gain 500 life points. That's not bad. I mean, yes, you do have to get rid of your cards on the hand or the field, but even so, it allows you to add specific cards you really need, plus gaining some life points. It's a bit of an added bonus as well. I wouldn't necessarily complain about this card. Not overly amazing, but definitely helpful. However, let's now move on to the more exciting stuff. We finally have the DD support cards, and normally we only get like 1 or 2 support cards for DDs, and even then it's a rare occasion, so the fact that we're getting so many all at once is just a huge deal. What does this actually mean? I'm hoping this could potentially push the deck back into the meta again, and that would be quite the pleasing gift from Konami, but who knows, let's find out. The first card we have here is DD Griffin, a level 4 Dark Fiend Pendulum effect monster of 1200 attack and defense and pendulum scale 1. So its pendulum effect reads, you can only use the pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. You could target one fiend monster you control, it gains 500 attack for each dark contract spell trap with different names you control and in your graveyard until the end of this turn. Then destroy this card. That's not bad, it's not the most amazing, however, the fact that it could potentially allow you to get enough attack points to OTK the opponent, I think that's pretty decent. And being a scale 1 as well is also really helpful for the deck itself, allowing you to potentially go into pendulum summons. Now as for the monster effect, you can only use the first, second and third effects of this card's name each once per turn. I mean, is that really a downside? We get 3 different effects here, that's pretty amazing. First effect, if you control a DD monster, you could special summon this card from your hand in defense position. That's exactly the card we actually need for the deck, an extra extender to potentially go for our elite monsters, otherwise it could be acting as either a fusion material, a synchro material, or even an Xyz material or link material. And if that was the only effect, I would already be really pleased about it. However, as for the second effect, if this card is pendulum summoned, you could discard one DD or Dark Contract card, draw one card. really are nice, allowing you to pretty much remove the cards that are more suited towards the graveyard and then get the cards you actually need for your plays. Definitely very smart. And as for the third effect, if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can add one DD card from your deck to your hand except this card. I'm very impressed with this card. It pretty much offers you something out of almost every situation out there. A really well designed card, and honestly each of these individual effects could have just been split into 3 different monsters. The fact that it's all combined into this one monster is absolutely amazing. However, next up we have over here DDD Amnesty King Doom Machina, a rank 10 Dark Fiend XC's Pendulum effect monster of 3000 attack and defense and a pendulum scale of 10. Now that is a whopping amount of attack points. But of course, being a rank 10, it obviously is going to be very specific here. It does have a pendulum effect and monster effect, which does add more potential to this particular card. So for its pendulum effect, if you have a card in other pendulum zone, you could target one pendulum monster you control in your graveyard, special summon the card in your other pendulum zone, and if you do, place that target in your pendulum zone. Well, that's actually pretty good. It allows you to recycle your resources, definitely nice, and being as pendulum scale of 10, you could also just go for plenty of pendulum summons in your deck. Now as for the monster effect, firstly it requires 2 level 10 fiend monsters, so it is a bit specific, but that's okay. You can also XC summon this card by using a DDD monster you control as material, transfer its materials to this card. Of course, that's really fantastic. Now first effect, you can only control one monster of this particular card, definitely amazing. It means that it could potentially be very powerful of course, and being that this is sort of like the ultimate boss monster, it makes sense to only be able to use one anyway. Second effect, once per chain, when your opponent activates a monster card's effect on the field as a quick effect, you can detach 2 materials from this card or destroy 1 dark contract card you control. And if you do, attach that opponent's card to this card as material. I was hoping they would at least be able to negate it, but even so, to steal their monsters and add it as your material is not bad at all. However, as for the third effect, once per turn during your standby phase, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. That's a bit surprising. I don't know why anyone would want to do that, but I guess if you wanted to change up the usage of this particular card, I guess you could do that. Otherwise, this is an amazing boss monster. But the next card we have here is called Patented Dark Contract Documents, a field spell card. You can only use the second effect of this card's name once per turn. Now this is very surprising to see that we're getting a field spell. This is the first DDD field spell out there, so I'm definitely really pleased to see that. It just adds more diversity to the actual card types. First effect, if your opponent special summons a monster of the same type, fusion, synchro, XYZ, or link as a DDD monster you control, you can inflict 1000 damage to them. Also, they cannot special summon monsters of the same type as those summoned monsters for the rest of this turn while this card is face up on the field. Now that is definitely a very powerful effect, allowing you to pretty much hurt your opponent quite a bit. Because keep in mind, DDDs have access to pretty much almost every single summoning method. Second effect, if this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add 1 DD monster from your graveyard or face up extra deck to your hand. Wow, I definitely really like that. Being able to recycle your cards so easily like that, I'm definitely all for it. This is a really good field spell, and it's something I definitely see using in my deck. Now finally, we have over here DDD Headhunt, a normal trap card. And again, I like the fact that it is a normal trap card because you can just speed up this card by playing Trap Trick in the deck. You can only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. If you control a DDD monster, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase of the next turn, but its effects are negated, it cannot declare an attack. Also, if it was special summoned from the extra deck, it is treated as a DDD monster. That's great because you could technically use it to go into your XC summon. Very powerful. Ultimately, I am just in love with all of these DDD new support cards. It's definitely something that kicks the deck just a bit up, so it gives it a bit of a fighting chance. But at the same time, it's not going to make the deck ban worthy or anything like that. Though I think we definitely have a lot of potential for the deck, and this is just very pleasing to hear. However, I'm sure you guys have your own thoughts, so definitely let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about each of these cards? Aside from just the DDDs, what do you think about Monster Rebirth? What do you think about the Fluanderes cards? There are so many more cards out there like the Blue Eyes support that I've yet to talk about, but I'm gonna have to do that in a separate video given this particular current one is already really long. But otherwise, thanks for joining me today. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I'll see you all next time.